As American Catholics, it's important for us to reflect on this moment in our church's history and the role that we will play in a world without Roe. We must prepare for the days ahead. Archbishop Naumann of Kansas recently said, quote, "I'm overjoyed that the American people can decide what abortion policy will be. I'm glad we're back to where we were pre-1973, but the battle is not over." I spoke to Father Patrick Mary of the Franciscan Missionaries of the Eternal Word and Brian Burch, president of Catholic Vote, last week. This is what they said. I'm joined now by Father Patrick Mary, MFVA, and Brian Burch, president of Catholic Vote. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me today. Father Patrick, I had the privilege of co-hosting EWTN's March for Life coverage with you just a little bit earlier this year, so I know you've been following all of this very closely. Could you speak to what a spiritual victory this is for the church, especially here in the United States?
Well, Prudence, this certainly is a great spiritual victory, and what a great joy, too, we hear about this on the great solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. I remember I just finished offering Mass for the Solemnity of the Sacred Heart and hearing confessions at the Shrine of the Blessed Sacrament, and one of the friars texted us with the great news. And what a gift from the Sacred Heart of Jesus that, we know that life is a gift from our God, and it's a sacred gift that we are called to protect. And just hearing this, that our own nation, the highest court in our nation, just says that there is no right to take innocent human life in the womb, to have an abortion. What we ask, it's a great blessing from God, and we hope that the Lord will certainly continue to bless our nation as we move forward. But certainly a great day of joy and gratitude in this moment in our history in our country.
Right, absolutely. And Brian, as Father Patrick said, this decision came down overturning Roe on the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Could you speak to how it's just so clear that the Lord's hand was in this, and why, that means Catholics should be speaking into this victory and really engaging in the public sphere?
Well, I'm reminded when I heard the decision on the Feast of the Sacred Heart of the famous line by Pope St. John Paul II, who said, "In the designs of providence, there are no mere coincidences." And so I don't think it's wrong to suggest that the hand of God was clearly here on this decision coming down on this day. Of course, me personally, I attend the Church of the Sacred Heart in the suburbs of Chicago, and so it was especially important for me. You're so right. Catholics have such a critical role to play. Don't forget, it was the Catholic Church that was essentially helped start the pro-life movement after Roe v. Wade, and it's going to be the Catholic Church that is going to need to be at the center of the reforms that are now necessary now that the court has given us the ability to reform abortion law around the country.
Right. And Father Patrick, as Archbishop Naumann said, this battle is not over. And part of that battle is going to be coming up against people who don't agree with us, even within our own Catholic Church, such as President Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi. How do we come up against these people who are hostile to what we believe and know to be true, protecting the family, traditional marriage, protecting life? How should we respond?
Well, first of all, it's good for us to know our faith, to study it well, and to look at the arguments that we come across with a peace, with a joy, that we don't allow anger or hatred to take over. It's good to hear another person's position and to ask them why they believe the way they do, and then that we can be able just to give them clear responses that, again, all life is a gift. And even like the whole notion of freedom, which often is like, you're taking away the freedom, the rights of women, to look at what true freedom is. It's a gift from God, and it doesn't mean that we can do whatever we want, especially when it comes to harming or taking away innocent human life. So I think for us as Catholics, striving to be faithful to the Church, to continue to study and learn what Pope Benedict XVI would say, learning our faith, it's a lifelong process, that we know how to clearly articulate the faith with charity, to preach the truth in charity. And that's a lifelong process, and just being willing to engage. Now, obviously, because of what's going on now in our country, this is going to be a regular discussion topic among a lot of Catholics. And so it's good for us to be able, again, to articulate clearly and truthfully and joyfully our faith,
right,
to engage others and to help lead them to the fullness of the truth.
Yes, and to be courageous in speaking the truth. And Brian, one final question. Now that Roe has been overturned, a lot of people are looking to the states. Kansas in particular, that's a place where voters will soon be able to vote on the life issue and the Value Them Both Amendment. This is something that's on the ballot where voters will soon have an opportunity to potentially eliminate a so-called right to abortion from the Kansas state constitution. Constitution. What are your thoughts on this at Catholic Vote? How are you and other pro-life groups engaging in that state?
Well, thanks for asking about that, because it's exactly right. The first test of this Dobbs decision in the states is going to come in Kansas. They have an election on a ballot initiative August 2nd. Early voting starts in just 2 weeks. And this will test whether or not Kansans, when given the choice, the Supreme Court has now given them whether or not to allow abortion in their state. It's related to a Supreme Court decision, state Supreme Court decision that they had. And it's so important that Catholics now turn their focus to these state battles. Kansas is battle number 1. And we are going to be mobilizing Catholics in that state. Archbishop Naumann, the bishops, and groups on the ground there are already working. We have the Catholic Vote Action Network. If you want to sign up, you can do so on our website. You can help us contact Catholics. It's really going to come down to turnout. Because it's an August election, there's likely to be less turnout than normal. It's going to be really important that we motivate and inspire fellow Catholics and all people of faith in that state to turn out for this ballot initiative.
Right. Well, if you're a Kansan and you're watching right now, make sure you get out and vote on August 2nd. Father Patrick Mary of EWTN and Brian Burch of Catholic Vote, thanks so much for your time. God bless you.
Thank you.